The Chiefs just keep on rolling. Why are the Chiefs so good? They are the last remaining undefeated team in the NFL at 6-0. And Patrick Mahomes so far, 1,389 yards, 6 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 61.2 QBR, which is really weird and strange to look at by all accounts, if you ask me. They beat the Ravens, the Bengals, the Falcons, the Chargers, the Saints, and an ailing 49ers squad. They are missing Jalen Watson, Mike Dana, Juju Smith-Schuster, Rashee Rice, Isaiah Pacheco. Rashee Rice and Isaiah Pacheco, Hollywood Brown, who's supposed to be there, B.J. Thompson, Charles Omenihu, and McCade Motair. All guys that have made an impact on this team at one point or another. And they're still 6-0, man. How are they doing it?
Well, and it's crazy too, because it's like he's 6-8, not record, sorry, 6 touchdowns, like 8 interceptions. It's crazy. And there was one clip which I almost put on What the Fuchs, but I was like, let me not, because there's no way I'm going to be able to hold on to this for like, or turn it into a minute. Of much like with what Kenny Pickett did with the slide, he does a fake like step out of bounds because he knows if he hangs close enough to that, like if he hangs close enough to that boundary, and if he gets hit hard by like a Fred Warner, it's going to be an extra 15 yards. And that's the thing that they're kind of capitalizing on, is just, you know, he knows that he can capitalize on that, and he's able to take advantage of it. And I don't know. It's honestly just crazy. And truly, it's also just the defense for the Chiefs are just really good. Now, you know, much like with, I saw somebody say this, that, you know, Miami is the Hurricanes, is the Kansas City of college, all that stuff with some of the calls, like, you know, with the Falcons in week 3 and all that. So
yeah.
Yes, there have been some questionable calls as well, but it's interesting, man. I don't know how long they can carry through this. You know, hell, they could carry this entirely through the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes could look like dog shit for the rest of the season. That team is just so stacked. That defense is so well ran. You know, I know week 1, you know, Isaiah Likely doesn't catch that game winner by a toe. You've got their defensive coordinator calling a timeout under the 2-minute warning. You're not allowed to do it, but they allowed it anyways.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of it. I really can't give an answer. Like, it's kind of one of those things where I'm just sitting up here going, I can't give a defiant answer without being like, they've cheated, which I'm not saying they are. But, you know, that's kind of, I can't give a defiant answer to be like, this is the clear, distinct reason why. There's so many different variables. It's just going to have to be a wait and see at this point.
The comparison between them and Miami is pretty valid, because a lot of their, you know, you go back to their wins and losses here, beating the Ravens 27-20, 26-25 against the Bengals, 22-17 against the Falcons, 17-10 against the Chargers, 26-13. I would give that one to them, and then the 49ers, who are injured. So
I would give the Saints one legit. Chargers, you know, they were injured. Falcons, you had that questionable call. Isaiah Likely, you know, by a toe. Bengal, I think there was a
pass interference
call. Yeah. So I just
Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's all.
I would say this. Having Kareem Hunt back, which they said he would never be back for their organization. They put their feelings to the side.
So that was a lie.
Yeah, and they found their guy. He's got 3 touchdowns so far this season, which is only half of Patrick Mahomes. Rashee Rice has been out several weeks, and you would think that one of these receivers would step onto the plate and get more yardage than he had. 288 yards has still not been eclipsed, and he's been going for several weeks now. Travis Kelce is right behind him at 245. I would love, and I don't know what it is, and shout out to Nick Bolton, man. That dude is one of the most underrated linebackers in the league. Time and time again finds himself
I'm so sick of this.
Of linebacker performances every single year and never gets talked about. But I want to see my boy Justin Watson get more involved in that game too, because he seems to be a security blanket as well and just never gets the love that he deserves too. So Noah Gray starting to come out of his shell too.
Which even last year, Noah Gray was a big factor. There were times where he was more of a factor than Kels.
Yeah.
Or Kelce, whatever.
Yeah, tomato.
Tomato. Fire the warning shot.
So who knows? Jeff said Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. I don't think so. Kind of what I'm alluding to is like their luck is going to run out here soon.
Yeah, I don't think that I think if it comes down to it, Isaiah Likely dead ass might just cut off his toe to prevent that from happening. Obviously that's a joke, but it's.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
Listen, you already know there's going to be that one. There's going to be that one comment like, "Can't believe you said that."
Well, they do play their first divisional game this week against the Raiders. Sorry, Torque.
Well, they played the Chargers earlier.
Oh, I mean, sorry. Yeah, this is their second.
Their first game against the Raiders, but yes. Either way, sorry, Torque.
Yeah, so we will see.
Although if they win, I'm waiting for all the Desmond Ridder is the savior we've been looking for videos to come out. I'm waiting for that.
Desmond Ridder MVP season. We're 8 weeks into the season. That's not happening.
The Chiefs have. I think their success comes from their defense. They're a top 5, or top 10 unit across the board, right? Rushing defense, passing defense, total defense, scoring defense.
Damn shame that Washington can't produce any good corners.
Yeah, for real. That McDuffie guy. Wonder what he's up to. But like their defense is elite, but surprisingly, it's the offense that hasn't been able to really get the ball rolling. I mean, yeah, losing Rashee Rice and Isaiah Pacheco really does hurt. But this is a guy, Patrick Mahomes, who for years now has been able to get it done just with Travis Kelce at tight end, right? With whoever it is in the backfield, whoever it is out wide, even after Tyreek Hill left. Maybe it's because of 2 high safeties in cover 2 in the NFL, cover 4. Maybe, I don't know. Whatever the change
Mel Kiper was right. We need to ban it. Mel Kiper mentioned the snapping turtle.
One of the things though that that interests me a lot, right, is the average depth of target statistic, because it's how far are these guys pushing the ball down the field. And for a lot of guys, it's down this year, right? Patrick Mahomes' average depth of target this year is 6.1, but last year it was 6.9, and the year before it was 7.5, and the year before that it was 7.4. So over the last 3 years before this year, he wasn't really pushing the ball that far downfield. I mean, yeah, you could look at it as like a 0.8, almost an entire yard shorter than last year. But even then, it's just like looking at the games, the scores, it seems like less is happening. And so seeing how there's not much of a variation, at least statistically, in how Mahomes is playing, this seems to be more of a receiver or defenses thing, where Mahomes is still, making the checkdowns, making the short throws, and, he'll have his deep shots, whatever. But it seems to be that defenses are doing a better job at making the tackles right after the catch, that, his guys aren't able to get as many run after catch yards. Right. And also just looking at the scoring totals as a whole, the Chiefs haven't scored over 30 points in a single game this season. The most they've scored in the game was 28 this past week against San Francisco. So I think just as a whole, the offense just isn't getting the ball rolling. I don't know if that's more on the running game or the passing game. because it's easy to look at Mahomes and his stats that you had up there, Dante, and be like, man, it's a Mahomes thing. He's thrown 6 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. But when you also look at it, yeah, the touchdowns and interceptions are different, but he himself is not playing much different than he normally has been, which I just think is very interesting, that it might be more of a credit to the defenses that are evolving and his weapons around him aren't doing as well after the catch.
Yeah. I mean, I think that this is totally a Steve Spagnuolo special this year. He's been so good as their defensive coordinator. That so much so, I don't know if he's interested in actually head coaching again, but he's going to be. I know a lot of people talk about hot head coaching hires, the Ben Johnsons of the world and those guys like that, but
Ben Johnson, Monken.
Yeah, and we just don't know if those are those guys do you want to be head coaches? If not, and they want to stick around with their team and just be the coordinator of the future, and they're okay with that, I think the Ravens and the Chiefs are going to be okay for many, many years to come. If I was Lamar Jackson, I'd be telling Todd Monken, please don't go, please.
Said, don't leave me, Todd.
Please,
Murph,
don't leave me.
don't leave me.
Oh man, but yeah. I think it's strictly just this is a coaching, getting the right calls in your favor, of course, because we've talked about that, and then going in free agency and grabbing guys like Kareem Hunt that you know can help your team. Has been really, really good, and then depth also matters. I don't think we talk about that a lot. Like Trent McDuffie's been playing out of his mind too. You know, having guys like that are just staples of your defense makes everything so much better. And week to week, you know what you got. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know if they can keep rolling. I think, obviously, I don't think the Raiders are a pushover team by any means. Especially going to a divisional game. Like, the Raiders could walk out of this one with a close W. But who's kidding ourselves? It's Patrick Mahomes, even though he's got 6 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. He could come out having 5 touchdowns in this game, and we're all talking about, oh, damn, he's back. He's angry, and they're ready to roll, right? So, I don't know. We all gave great points. Coaching, players, Patrick Mahomes, defense. It all matters.
I'm so sick of this.
It all matters. And one thing you can say is even in last year's performance when they won the Super Bowl, a lot of people were doubting them because of the team that they put together around them too.
Yeah.
And let's just say, gentlemen, this is looking like last year's team a little bit when they didn't know what they had, and then they actually ended up winning the Super Bowl too. So
yeah,
we keep doubting, but maybe their time maybe not coming to a close, even with the close wins, because a W is a W at the end of the day. And they've defined the laws of gravity several times.
Yeah,
so
and that's what, like, they could literally play like this for the rest of the regular season and then just look like a completely different team come playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, shit's ridiculous.
But yeah, the Chiefs are going to keep on rolling until
It's just nasty work.
Yeah, I guess till somebody stops, right?